Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today is part 2 of great guitar intros for Blowin' Free by Wishbone Ash. We're going to learn the second guitar part here. Well, actually, you're going to learn the second guitar part here, and you're going to see it's really very easy, so this isn't going to be a particularly long lesson as a result. All right, so let's just get right to it, and be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. The second guitar part of the intro is a pure accent part. It's highlighting the main riff and the hammer-ons. So let's go through the first 3 measures here. It's really straightforward. You're just playing the D shape at 7, the D shape at 5, and the D shape in the open position, just as the first guitar part does, yet you're only playing the top 2 strings, the first and second string, throughout, and you're on the beat. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And you'll notice no pedal point. The other guitar is doing that. This is just accenting what the other guitar part is. All right? Especially the melodic line, the moving line. The fourth measure is hammer-ons. So you'll just play 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and then you're back up to the top, right? So what you're going for is this. 3, 4. And then you're back up here, playing a second, third, and fourth time. It's 4 times through, all right? Just like with the first guitar part. So pause, practice this, get it down, put it to a metronome, smooth it out. The second half of the second guitar part is a great little lesson on partials. And it shows you how you can complement another guitar part, as in the first guitar part, by playing in a different place on the neck. The first guitar's ending, second half, is the D, A minor, G, F sus2 or F9, back to the G. Now we preserve that too in the second guitar part, but we're playing the part a little bit differently up here. You're playing a D, an A minor, a G, an F sus2 or F9, back to the G for the first time through. The second time through, you go through the first measure, the D, A minor, G, but you go to the second ending and we have the F sus2 here, or F9, but then we go up here to play this G shape right here, using the D form. And that's it. So this is a great little lesson on partials too. So pause the video, go over this, pay attention to the fingering. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could play these. You could just play with your third finger flat across this, right? And you'd be okay. But I tend to like to employ all my fingers. I get a good solid sound out of that, which you can do here, but that's less taxing on the fingers in one respect, and it allows me to be very dexterous too. Okay, so just do what makes sense and flows well. All right, so pause, learn this, get it down, put it to a metronome. On screen is the whole of the second guitar part. Here's what it should sound like. 3, 4. So pause, practice this. Play it smooth and flowing at a tempo where you can actually get it flowing smooth. Then put it to a metronome to keep yourself honest, to make sure you're doing everything right, okay? Just want to break in here for a moment and remind you down in the description is a link to patreon.com, Outsmart Your Guitar. Go on over there, join for free. You'll have access to a cross-section of material that you can watch and learn from, along with the written material, which will be included as well. Then you can join as a full-on patron at one of 3 levels to gain access to a whole lot of lessons that are not featured here, along with expanded versions of many lessons that are featured here. And you'll have access to all the written material for those lessons. All right? Check it out. Oh, now back to the lesson. All right, now get your looper out, record the original first guitar part that you learned last time into your looper so that you can play this second guitar part over the top of it and hear how they blend together so that you're going to mimic the 2 guitars playing simultaneously. All right, so here's what you're going for. There you go. That's what you're going for. That's what's happening here. And this is really fun. So pause and take the time to get a good rendition of the first guitar part recorded into your looper, and then play this over the top of it. Again, use a metronome to keep your tempo steady throughout the whole recording of the looper. It's a great device to get your loops to be nice and even when they complete themselves and start over again. And really pay attention to the details here, because in an intro like this, the devil is in the details. Everything needs to be synchronized and matched. As you saw in part 1 at the very beginning, when I demonstrated this before even breaking the lesson down, you heard how the guitars meshed together. And then just now, playing with the looper, you saw how I was able to mesh the 2 guitar parts together to sound really complete. And that's the whole idea. A greater whole is created by the 2 guitar parts. All right? So have fun with this. As you can see, playing 2 guitar parts, having them be slightly different, can really enhance and create a better sounding part than just playing the same thing. A lot of bands just play the same riffs together when they have 2 guitars, and it gives it this really thick sound. And that's fine, but if all your stuff is like that, then it begins to kind of run together and sound the same song to song. But when you take the time to break down what guitar 1 is doing and what guitar is doing, making them different but complementary to one another to create a greater whole, then you're taking advantage of the potentials and the possibilities that having 2 guitars in the band gives you. It's like when you have a guitar and a keyboard in a band instead of a second guitar, they're playing different parts, and it really creates this very beautiful thing, being as how they are slightly different, right? Because keyboard players play different than guitar players, right? But when you have two guitar players, you don't want to play the same thing. You want to play two separate parts that create a third, greater part, right? That's the whole idea of what this particular Great Guitar Intro episode is here to emphasize. And additionally, chord partials being instrumental in creating these different guitar parts that will mesh together. All right, so I'm sure you can think of a couple of bands that do this. Well, go and listen to what they're doing. Really pay attention to what the two guitars are different, the different parts that they're playing to create a greater whole. That's the idea behind how this works. One guitar usually holds down the fort while the other guitar adds accents. But they can also play totally separate parts that, both combined hold down the fort. And that's a whole other cool approach. All right. So I hope this has opened your eyes to the potentials that lie before you if you are in a two guitar band situation or get into a two guitar band situation at some point in the future. And you can introduce this idea, hey, I really think we should be playing different parts. Let's sit down and work out something really cool here. And it's particularly relevant with original material. Because when you're playing covers, you pretty much want to sound like the record. You got to do what the guitars are doing. But when it's original music, you can do whatever you want. So write a guitar part for this one and a guitar part for this one that when put together, create a greater whole. All right? Enjoy this stuff. It's important to expand your knowledge and the possibilities and potentials of what you can do in a two guitar band. Way more than you think. All right? So, thanks again for letting me be your teacher. There's a lot more, as you know. Check it out. And you take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.